Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for the Fund It Fast Chat. I'm Rochelle Butler of the San Joaquin Valley Clean Energy Organization. We are so glad that you're here with us today. For today's webisode, we are going to highlight the Water Infrastructure Systems Efficiency Program, or WISE for short. Now, we have featured this program in the past. However, as programs change over time, we thought it would be a really good opportunity not only to remind you that the offering is out there and it's available for you to take advantage of, but also to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information possible. So if you are a public agency and if you are in any way, shape, or form responsible for wastewater treatment or distribution, you're going to want to stay tuned for this information. We have a very, very special guest with us from the organization that actually implements the WISE program. I would like to welcome Fiela Vu to the Fund It Fast Chats. She is the Director of Programs for Lincus. Fiela Vu helps drive energy efficiency improvements for utilities and public agencies. She has more than a decade of experience in engineering, project development, project management, and program portfolio management. Fiela has overseen the implementation of more than 75 gigawatts with a G, and 18 megawatts of energy efficiency projects with a budget of $32.5 million. That is quite an impressive resume. We are very lucky to have you with us today, Fiela. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, super excited to have you with us. So just to give everyone a little bit of background, would you like to tell us just a little bit about your organization and your role within that organization?
Great. Yes, thank you. So Lincus is an energy engineering consulting firm that designs and implements energy efficiency programs for utilities in California, Arizona, and Oklahoma. So my team identifies energy efficiency projects. Ultimately, we're helping water agencies improve their water systems, and then reduce electricity usage and increase their system reliability overall. And so in facilitating incentive payments for these projects, Lincus supports agencies with just ongoing capital improvements. And so Lincus has been offering the water infrastructure and system efficiency program since 2019 or 2014. And we are relaunching the program this year. And through the program, we've identified projects and supported their successful implementation.
Awesome. So if you wouldn't mind going ahead and giving us like a high level overview of what the program offering is for maybe for those that aren't familiar with the program or who are new, go ahead and give them a high level overview, Fiela, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah, the statewide WISE program offers incentives and rebates for energy efficiency projects, and it also offers niche engineering services for water and wastewater facilities within Pacific Gas and Electric Territory, Southern California Edison Territory, SoCal Gas Territory, and San Diego Gas and Electric Territory. And all of the services are offered at no cost to program participants. And so we also offer a trade ally network. Ultimately, what we do is we pretty much bring in manufacturers, distributors, contractors, and engineering designers and connect them with water and wastewater customers and really work with them to ensure that the most energy efficient technologies are available on the market.
Awesome. So one thing that thank you, first of all, for that explanation, Fiela. One thing I really keyed on, though, is that this program is available for all of our public sector partners, no matter what utility service territory they're located in. So now I did key on one thing that you said. You used the term niche engineering services. So what exactly does that translate to in English?
I know, as an engineer, I should definitely be more clear on what that is. So ultimately, what we're doing is we're identifying eligible energy efficiency projects. And so energy efficiency is really about permanently reducing your energy usage. And so as a result, this results in reduced energy operating costs, and it helps keep water rates low, and it also helps agencies save on their operations and maintenance. staff time, since you're kind of upgrading you're upgrading equipment, pumps, blowers, mechanical systems within the system. And so the operations time and maintenance staff is not working as hard to bring them, keep them running. And so ultimately, we're identifying and supporting the installation of these energy efficiency projects. And we've been doing this since 2009, and we've, touched and seen hundreds of water systems. And so all the expertise that have been built up over this time have been really used to help operators adopt methods of operating their system more efficiently. And so more specifically, that includes performing site audits that are used to identify energy efficiency projects. And then we also provide the financials and incentives to help convince your management and your board to proceed with these projects. After the project's identified, then we'll provide project targets. So ultimately, if we're looking to improve pump efficiency, we'll tell you, all right, the target is to get it to 70% efficiency. Or if it's to get a water system, update a pump control system to be more efficient, we'll say, all right, we need the water level to be at 10 feet. That's kind of an example of different targets that we'll provide so that the savings can actually realize after installation. And then after the installation has nearly complete, we'll also provide some project commissioning recommendations to really maximize the amount of energy savings available with that project. And finally, all throughout the project from kind of beginning to end, the goal is to really train operators to kind of learn how to operate their systems more efficiently and make sure that the energy savings that we're identifying and that we verified really continue for years to come after completion.
Awesome. So, okay, well, I'm going to tout our horn just a little bit here. As an organization, the SJVCO has completed portfolio level benchmarking programs for many public sector partners over the years. In fact, we have over 6,000 accounts in our organization's oversight. So we have a pretty good idea of where our agencies are spending their money, especially in terms of with their energy usage. So what we found is that it's really common, particularly for our agencies in the San Joaquin Valley, to have 2/3 or even more sometimes of their overall energy costs be spent in the movement or the treatment of water. So there's definitely a need out there for the program, right? However, in my experience, we found that the turnkey programs, the programs where everything is available to them in one neat little package with a bow, those work the best for our public agencies. So Fiela, can you kind of walk us through what services are available through the WISE program?
Definitely. So the program really prepares all application documentation on behalf of participants so that they can qualify for rebates and incentives. And then ultimately for deemed projects, these are ones where you install a particular type of offering and it meets the qualifying installation requirements. So customers may install the equipment, submit an invoice and necessary documentation, and then we'll basically process the rebate, and agencies will receive a rebate within 4 to 6 weeks of project submission. And so there's 3 actual measures that are offered within the program. Water pump upgrade rebates are available for clean water replacements. So these are for pumps that exceed the Department of Energy pump efficiency standards. And so these are the rebates associated with it on a per horsepower basis. And then in addition to that, for agencies that are installing a new pump with a VFD on a pressurized irrigation system, may also receive rebates for that. And then finally, we also offer rebates for installing pump and fitting insulation on bare pipes and fittings up to pipe diameter of 4 inches. And so ultimately, if the installation meets the requirements, we'll go ahead and process the rebate, pre-fill the incentive application for you, have you review and sign it, send back document, and we'll process the rebate. We also offer custom energy efficiency measures, and these incentives are intended to motivate customers to proceed with a measure that they weren't originally planning on doing. And so we offer two tiers of incentives. This includes above code incentive rates and then bro and to code. And ultimately for above code, this includes equipment replacements, retrofits, controls, and so pump and blower replacement or ammonia-based aeration controls would qualify for the higher rebate, which is, 12 cents per kWh, 150 per kW, and $1.50 per therm. And these are offered based on first year energy savings. For Bro and 2 code, this includes bringing a system back to its original efficiency. And so this would be for measures like pump overhaul or VFD set point optimization. And so for these custom measures, they do need to go through a project application approval process before installation can start. And so the application process really takes about 3 to 6 months. So I encourage others to reach out to us and get the process started as quickly as possible. And then finally, we also offer on-bill financing and help with the application support of that.
Awesome. That on-bill financing really helps get a lot of projects over the finish line. So, but thank you so much. I think that lays out everything pretty well for our public sector partners. Thank you, Fiela. And just as a reminder, the SJV CEO, we're always doing this, but we will be reviewing the data that we have available for our enrolled partners to help them identify potential projects. And so don't be surprised if you hear from us soon, or if you haven't already heard from us, we'll be keying up those projects for Fiela to take a look at and sort of run with. So, but before we go though, it would be really awesome, Fiela, if you wouldn't mind giving us some like examples of projects that you've completed in the past. You don't have to tell us like the name of the agency or anything, but just give us an idea of those common measures that you see out there. And, so people can get a good idea of the scope.
Sure, I'm happy to go into the common energy efficiency measures we see. Ultimately, the most common is pump efficiency improvements. And so we oftentimes find that pumps are operating great. They're meeting their water demand, but they happen to be operating at lower overall plant efficiency. So sort of in the low to fair range. And so we offer incentives and have identified, system-wide overhaul projects to help get the actual pump components back to manufacturer specification. And so in improving a pump efficiency by about 10%, we can see about 16 to 17% in energy savings in that pump. So that's by far the most common measure that we see. The next step is really doing pump controls and set point optimizations, which could include adding VFDs to existing pumps. So if you have clay valves that are burn-in head, as it's running, take out those clay valves, put in check valves, and then add a VFD. Or if there are, existing VFDs, they've been there for a while, and maybe the set points, don't quite make sense since system conditions have, changed over time. That would be another optimization strategy. And then finally, the control valves at the end of the pump are another way of improving the system. We also have, after the pump system and the controls are improved, the next step is system optimization. And so for pump sequencing and water system optimization, if there's a booster pump station that has multiple pumps that are meeting a common demand, one's at 70%, another one's at 60%, another one's at 62%, and another one's at 50%. Ultimately, we want the 70% efficiency pump operating most of the time. And so this measuring basically installs equipment so that you can automatically run your most efficient pump to meet that water demand. And then also another option is for wastewater treatment plants. There's multiple treatment process, and really the goal is to focus on pumps or on the measures that have the biggest bang for the buck, which is really the secondary treatment process. And so for just diffused operation and blowers, it's best to make sure that the aeration blower is as efficient as possible by possibly putting in a turbo blower with integrated VFD capability and coupling that with ammonia-based aeration controls to limit the amount of blower operation to only what's necessary for the process, which saves energy. And these two measures can quite honestly reduce the consumption of that treatment process by up to 30%.
Wow. Awesome. I love to hear about energy savings and ways that we can help our partners save on their bills so they can redistribute funds to other things that they're trying to do in their communities. So awesome. Thank you so much again, Fiela. That's what we have on the WISE program for everyone today. I would like to just thank you again, Fiela, for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be with us on the Fund It Fast chat. Thank you all for tuning in with us. And just remember, we will be dropping a new webisode of the Fund It Fast chat each second Tuesday of the month. And sometimes when we really miss you, we'll drop a bonus webisode as well. In the meantime, you can always connect with us. You can find us all over the place. Check us out on Instagram, on Spotify, on LinkedIn, and on X, all at SJV CEO. Or you can just head on over to our website, sjvceo.com. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.